We're good to go? Alright, mics are live. Konnichiwa and welcome to Top Class Tokyo, a weekly weeb podcast about life in Japan and the collision of Asian and American culture. I am your host, Kim Sensei, English teacher by day and by night, podcaster extraordinaire, broadcasting to you from Tokyo, Japan. Joining me today from sunny Los Angeles is my lovely co-host, Justine.
Hi, friends.
Hello, I fucked that intro up.
It's okay. I forgive you.
Hello, good morning. Konnichiwa. Ohayo gozaimasu.
How's it going?
Yes. Good. So our theme today was supposed to be high tea, tea culture, mahjong, card games. Except that I have nothing to contribute to this area, and all I did was watch Sk8 the Infinity this weekend. So
What is that?
Sk8 the Infinity is it's an anime that's been on my watch list for a long time because it came out I want to say 2 years ago. But it just got added to Crunchyroll, so I finally got around to watching it, and it was nothing like I expected. I expected boys on skateboards, pretty boys on skateboards, but that's about the extent of, skateboarding culture I feel like it is, adhering to. I really did not know what to expect because it's very colorful, it's very beautiful, the animation is great, it's gorgeous. I love the aesthetic, but it's sort of like if skateboarding was more like Mario Kart and Initial D combined. That's what Sk8 the Infinity is, because I thought it was gonna be a chill, slice of life thing about skateboarding boys, and it's skate scene, but it's nowhere near authentic, I would say, to actual skate culture. It makes up its own world where there's this underground street racing skate race down this mountain, and people are allowed to throw banana peels and shit, and I only watched the first 2 episodes, and it's so stupid that it almost turns me off from watching it if I was actually interested in actual skateboarding. It's who fucking wrote this shit? It was someone who actually doesn't know how to skateboard, and it's 4 people who don't know anything about skateboarding written by people who don't know anything about skateboarding. So, I don't know if I can recommend it if you're into skateboarding, but if you are not part of the culture, I think you would enjoy it. And it is a beautiful, beautiful anime. And the way it's very, action oriented because it is a sport. So I think if you're into sports animes, I think you would like it. I think it caters to a very female audience because it's basically just pretty boys on skateboards, and the skateboards are kind of weird too. I don't know, they do
you can mod it
shit.
your Mario Kart bikes, and then basically the wheels give you 5 times speed or some shit like that.
I'm oh man, this is
so some air gear bullshit, but on skateboards instead of rollerblades.
I never watched Air Gear because I almost want to say that Air Gear is a lot more realistic.
It's more turf wars and going fast, some Sonic vibes. But I like the art, so that's why I watched it.
Okay. If you're into pretty boys on skateboards rolling down hills, then yes, you'll enjoy Sk8 the Infinity. Solid B. I would give it a solid B. Just the only saving grace is just the beautiful, pretty boys.
Isn't that what usually saves most poor stories, is just pretty faces?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it looks really good. That's why I feel it's so kind of cringe to watch, but it's the action scenes are so good. I almost want to compare it to Demon Slayer with how beautiful like some of the like the like race scenes are. Just how like, I don't know, it's really creative with all the like the different camera angles and just like the different things. Like I feel like they tried to go over the top to make these like race scenes really just really dynamic in a way. So I can kind of see that angle, but if you're just it's barely skateboarding. It's barely skateboarding. So yeah, Sk8 the Infinity. That's the only thing on my report card for today. So.
It's K because I was yesterday years old when I realized that Crunchyroll and Funimation are merging. Did you know that?
Dude, didn't that happen like 5 years ago?
I don't know, because I don't have subscriptions to either of those. And
Yeah,
I just saw like a TikToker person being like, BTW this, and I was like, what?
I feel like that happened already. Oh, maybe it didn't, but if it's news now, then I'm not surprised. Yeah.
So that's the like,
other. Yeah, and I forgot to mention the other thing that I really like about Sk8 the Infinity is that it's set in Okinawa, and I feel like they did such a nice job with the environments in setting the scene and like making it really feel like Okinawa with like the palm trees and the beaches and just like how like colorful the neighborhoods are and like the traditional, like the main character lives in a traditional Okinawan house. I feel like they did that part so well and they got skateboarding so wrong. So it's just so funny.
All the budget went to the OG Okinawan houses. That's what happened.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not their fault.
Blew the budget on the environments. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, okay, merging Crunchyroll and Funimation, one giant company now.
Yeah, apparently. And I was like, oh, that's neat. I still don't have a sub to either of them, but good for them.
I didn't know Funimation was a streaming service because I thought Funimation was just a publishing and like distribution kind of company. Like, because I didn't think, at least I wasn't aware of any kind of app that was like connected to Funimation, because like Crunchyroll started off with just being a streaming service, and then like it's a much newer company than Funimation, whereas Funimation has been around for like at least, I want to say 10-15 years, and like their original purpose was to like import the titles and then sub them and dub them and then distribute them to like North American audiences. So it's a merger that makes sense, I think.
But aside from that, I've come to the conclusion that I suck at drawing Pokemon, let alone painting them. We did a Pokemon paint day today, and I decided that my theme for the Pokemon I will draw will be Pokemon that don't have necks. So they have to be round Pokemon. And somehow I've managed to fail at drawing round Pokemon. And at the same time, we were doing like, oh, okay, if we're gonna do paint night, we should at least have like tea snacks and shit, because I fucking love high tea. But instead of tea, we had fucking wine seltzers because it's Sunday and that's what you do, is you have tea snacks and wine seltzers, because America.
So a tea party without tea. Shitty
well, there was tea at some point because I was craving sweets, but we started with the wine seltzers because America.
Okay.
But in terms of high tea, I did a very untraditional high tea because we did like tea sandwiches, and I did baked brie, which freaking slapped. I went to Costco. You could buy a wheel of brie for like $9, and it's like this 18-ounce wheel of cheese. So that's what I had for lunch today, is a wheel of brie with a bunch of sourdough.
Wow.
But I don't know. I feel like I've been itching to go to like a real high tea, but because of Panera, it's been like hard. But I think now that things are loosened up, I'm like, all right, time to do high tea. Actually, I did book a high tea at this place called the Morning Lavender in Tustin.
Uh-huh.
And it's like a boutique shop that they like hybrid with a tea shop or like a cafe.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to check it out. And I think that's happening in like a week or so. So I will have my proper high tea soon.
Is there like a set menu with like different courses?
Yeah, where it would have like the little tea snacks, the little scones and shit. You can choose your tea, just be fancy and stuff, wear cute outfits, take pictures.
Tustin's kind of far, isn't it?
Um, maybe like 20-30 minutes.
Okay.
So it's not bad. It's like south of me, so traffic isn't miserable because they have tea in LA too, but I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, I've only had high tea once here in Tokyo, and that was I was on Otome Road. It was like the dream high tea if you're obsessed with like black Butler. It was at a Butler Cafe. Oh
Mm-hmm.
God, what was it called? I think it was like the Swallowtail Butler
Oh, okay,
Cafe.
okay, yeah.
You've heard of it?
Sick, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's like the famous one, and like the fucking butlers are literally straight out of Black Butler. They have the suits. They've got like, like the fucking Japanese mullet hair that's perfectly styled, and like the white gloves, and oh my God, the silverware, the chandeliers. There's like red velvet curtains and wallpaper. It's very like
Very lush.
trying very hard to imitate like 18th century England vibes.
Mhm.
So really nice tea sets, really really beautiful, like teapots and teacups and everything. And yeah, and it's actually the price wasn't bad at all, and they have like it's cheaper if you go for lunch, and they also serve like full dinner courses as well. So I think I went for the lunch. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I went for the lunch. This is like 2 years ago now.
How
So,
much
like,
was it?
I want to say it was less than $30. I want to say like around
Okay.
20. Yeah, because it was like tea and then like 3 courses for lunch.
Oh, that's pretty
And it was,
nice.
like, yeah, it had like a bunch of, it was like this like tiered
Yeah.
like serving tower of like sweets with like macarons and little dainty sandwiches and
Oh, that's
various
nice.
yeah, like little pies and just like all kinds of little like hors d'oeuvres. So it was really 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 nice.
Did your butler have to entertain you and stuff?
Oh yeah, he called me like
Sick.
Ojo-sama, and like he was like using the highest keigo. It was really cool.
Yeah, I
it
feel
was
like
really
there's
fun.
like two kinds of high tea. Because you can get the whole, like, it's kind of like the female version of Maid Cafe, but for, like, butlers instead. Or there's, like, the more classic, like, nomi hodai for tea that they have at, like, the hotels in... I know they have it at the Hilton in Tokyo. Because I've had it there, and I went to this other bougie hotel that oversees like the garden, like some park in Tokyo. I forget what it's called, but I have also had high tea there, and I think detail-wise and value-wise, high tea in Tokyo is a lot cheaper than high tea in the States, and I think there's just a lot more care put into the little snackies that you have. Because when I went in wintertime, they had like cute little like Christmas tree designed desserts and like snowman shaped desserts, and I just thought it was super aesthetic. And I just liked how it was all you can drink. So you're literally like pounding tea for 2 hours and just having little snackies.
I can't remember if it was all you can drink at the Butler Cafe, because I mean, like, I honestly can't drink that much tea, so it's like you fill up on like all the little food. So yeah, I don't know. Like, how much is the one in Tustin? Because the ones at least that for high tea that I've heard of in the Hilton and like big hotels can get pretty expensive. Like,
Yeah.
especially around like Christmas time where you have to make reservations, like they can cost around like $50 or $60.
Mm-hmm. I think at the place I'm going to, it's like $37 a person.
Oof. Oh, wow, okay.
But it's not bad. It's like you get the sandwiches, you get a scone, you get 3 desserts, and you get tea.
That is some fancy tea.
And then you get like the whole ambiance of the seating area and just the vibe itself.
Mm.
So it's more like it's a tea, but you also get to chill in this super cute ass looking cafe for like a couple hours.
Yeah, it's almost like renting like a photo studio where you can just take like Instagram pictures of
Yeah.
the tea.
Not gonna lie, I'm super about it because I'm all about sitting and eating and doing nothing. So yeah, high tea is up my alley in terms of things I enjoy in life at this point.
I agree. I can dig it. Yes.
Hey man, you want to come over and sit and do nothing? Fuck yeah, I do.
I'd be more interested in exploring like the more casual side of like cafe culture, like as far as like, because you said that like Butler cafes are kind of the flip side of maid cafes for like you know in Akihabara and stuff, but I almost think it's harder to find like a chill butler, or not even butler, just like a chill like otome cafe than it is to find a maid cafe. Because like whenever I'm just like hanging out in Ikebukuro, you don't ever. It's such a different vibe than Akihabara. Because like especially at like on a weekend night in Akihabara, you see like the fucking maids lined up on every single corner trying to like pull in all the salarymen. But you do the same thing in Ikebukuro. I like maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I'm not on the right street corners, but like I don't see like the butlers lined up outside. You know what I mean? So.
I feel like it's a different like approach though, because I feel like people that go to butler cafes go because they're specifically wanting to go to a butler cafe. They want that pampering, they want that service. And it's like, I feel like if you're telling me,
that's the same thing is true for the maids.
Well, I think just the approach-wise, when you're telling someone like, oh, hey, yeah, you should totally come to this maid, you should totally come to this butler cafe, I think the desperation kind of turns people off, or turns me off in general, because I'm just like, oh, you want me to go to your thing? Yeah, I don't want to go to it, because you told me you want me to go. So I just feel like the need to have to advertise is, like, harder, especially if it's, like, geared towards women, because I feel like for men it's like the visual aesthetic is enough to lure men into maid cafes. Whereas for women it's kind of like, I'm here to be treated well.
Yeah, and it's like a more exclusive sort of like venue type of feeling. It's like, oh, let's try to elevate the vibe here. you know? To be like, would you like to come? Oh, is your name on the list? Let me check. So yeah. I can kind of see that. But even though I feel like, given that, I think it's still like there's a much smaller scene in Ikebukuro as compared to the maid cafe scene in Akihabara.
Because then like if you're also comparing, because I know there's other industries like hostess clubs. It's the same thing where it's like, hey, come in, oh look at these cute guys. And it's kind of like, yeah, if you want eye candy, that approach will be effective. But if you're there because you want to be given good service, that's not really the approach you take. Because then that's kind of...
Yeah, maybe I think I'm making more of an assumption then, because if they're taking a much more discreet approach, then I think it might be harder to accurately gauge the size of the like community and like the demand of it, because it's not apparent, like, and it's not like in your face and as visual as it is for men and the maid cafes. So interesting.
Something to look into.
I know, right? Have you, dear listeners, have you visited either of these places? What do you think? Comments about the butler versus maid cafe scenes in Tokyo.
I remember a couple of years ago they did have for guest of honors, they had a maid cafe and Swallowtail Butler Cafe come to Anime Expo as guests.
Oh, cool.
So they had like two or three maids from, was it Maid Dreamin'? And they
I've
had,
been to that one.
yeah. So they had a couple of maid cafes come, or like a couple of maids from Maid Dreamin' come over, and then they had a couple of butlers from Swallowtail come over, like back in the early maid cafe days as guest of honors. And that was pretty cool. Like because I was doing maid cafe at the time, we got to like stand next to them and shit, but I didn't really engage with them whatsoever.
Did they like do shows and performances, or like what? I could imagine
they did like an interview. They didn't do a
yeah.
service or anything.
Oh,
like
that's
they
too
just
bad.
did an appearance during the maid cafe. Whatever the time slots were, but they didn't really do a performance, like photo op and just like appearance type of thing.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been really popular. I feel like they would have been working like nonstop though.
Yeah.
If that was the case.
Because I feel like maid cafe, Butler Cafe doesn't really translate well into like anime convention environment, because maid cafe, Butler Cafe, it's like in relation to how much more competition there is in like Akihabara for those type of services. It's kind of like less hectic versus, oh, by the way, you're gonna do like 60 table services over the span of 4 days. So it's kind of harder to really get the same service because just the volume that they'd have to do.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like Maid Cafe and Butler Cafe is a staple though of anime conventions. Like, I feel like it would feel like there's something missing if you didn't have them at a con, but they are notoriously hard to run. So
yeah.
And to manage, especially since it's food service and just dealing with the craziness of a con. It's sort of like, what is it? Like, it's just exponentially chaotic. So
yeah. Coming from a former maid cafe employee, yes.
I've always wanted to do maid cafe.
No, you don't.
I never,
you don't.
I guess I dodged
oh, you poor girl, you're so confused.
They've always looked so cute, and like every time, like I remember being in high school, and every time like the applications would go up, I'd be like, "Oh, I want to join Maid Cafe. It looks so fun."
Till it's not.
Yeah, and then I was like, "Wait, this is a volunteer work. I'm not getting paid."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Nope. Okay." I think that was the thing that was stopping me. Because I was like, if they treated this like an actual job, then I feel like I would have taken it a lot more seriously. But but the con just wants free labor, so so exploiting those weebs.
Yeah,
that's what it's good for. Put that volunteer experience on your resume, weebs.
I'm qualified. I did free labor.
Yep. Okay. Do we want to talk about mahjong card games at all?
We could.
Or shall we leave it here? We could leave that for the next
Yeah, I feel like
episode.
The conversation itself was pretty quality with the types of maid cafes, how it's delivered across America in relation to Japan.
Yeah.
Maid cafe versus hostess. Yeah.
One topic.
Yeah.
All right, we'll tie it up here. We'll put a little bow on it. All right, finally, we'd like to end with some Q&A. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or requests for topics you'd like to hear more about, please reach out to us on our social media at Top Class Tokyo on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, or send us an email at topclasstokyo@gmail.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Class is dismissed.
Yay!